Get down, my army crawl. Army crawl, get in the closet. Go get the sword in the living room. Somebody get the sword underneath the couch in the living room. There's a sword.
Here we go now.
All right, this week it's your turn with a guy with a funny name. How do you say that?
Sebastian Maniscalco.
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 Man, you have to say that one slow.
Sebastian's what I usually call him.
Sab.
Old Savvy.
Old Savvy.
The Italian. No, he's. This is two things. I ran across this, and I used to tell this a lot. I used to say it my own way out of my own personal experience. I would say a very similar thing to what we're getting ready to hear. And this particular joke that he does, one of my favorite jokes, which is why I'm doing it. And I like him a lot. I don't know if he's like one of my favorite comedians, but I like him a lot.
Yeah.
But this particular one, I would tell this from my story, didn't know about his. And when I found his, I was like, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is, and again, if you've had a situation, if you're older, 70s and 80s type of person,
if you're of our generation, boy, this
you're going to appreciate it. And even if you're not, you'll get it. And the reverse, because when it gets to the backside of the joke, it's like you'll relate to it. Yeah. But now you'll see why it's funny. So this is Sebastian Maniscalco, and I don't know what this one's called. Doorbell, I think. Yep.
All right.
I was sitting in my house a couple weeks ago.
Company.
Just relaxing.
That's the name of it. Company.
My doorbell rang. This is weird. It's a different feeling when your doorbell rings today opposed to 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, your doorbell rang. That was a happy moment in your house.
Yes.
It's called company.
Company.
Be sitting there on a Thursday night watching TV. Your doorbell rang. The whole family shot off the couch. Oh my God!
We got company.
Put the lights on. Somebody's here. We got people.
That's so true.
The whole family went to the door. The kids were in socks. They slid up to the door. Nobody looked to see who it was. You just opened up the door. You were like, oh my God, look at them. Look at them.
Who it is.
And you're excited about who they were.
Look at who's here. And you'd ask them, what the hell are you doing here? And the person would be like, I was in the neighborhood. I thought I might stop by, see how the kids are doing. They're like, oh, come on in. We're going to have some cake. Your mother had a little Entenmann's.
I don't even know what that word means.
Some Sara Lee crumble cake.
But I remember having that kind of stuff.
Company came over.
Just in case.
You could never have it.
She made an announcement when she bought it. She's like, listen, nobody touch this cake.
That's right.
This is for company only. Those crap muffins, those are for you people.
That's exactly right.
You better hope to God somebody comes over so we could cut the cake.
That's the only reason we like company.
That's right.
The crumble cake.
The crumble cake.
She put her cake in the middle of the table, proud of it. And she put it right in the middle. Got yourself a slice. Want a cup of coffee? We're gonna do. Want some Sanka?
Sanka?
Yeah, that's
old to know
school.
what that is.
I know what that is.
A lot of the young kids are looking at me like, what is that, an iPhone
Best
app?
part of getting up. Best part of waking up.
What the hell is Sanka?
It's Folgers.
Your mother had a tin, brown and orange tin of Sanka, ready to go just in case the company. She put a big pot on the table. Go ahead. Nobody had a cell phone back then. If your house phone did ring, your father stood up and said, nobody get that phone. We got company. You lost track of time. 2 hours went by. You were like, we got to get out of here. That's okay. Next time we're going to come by you. Be like, yeah, my door's always open. Now your doorbell rings?
Here it goes.
It's like, what the fuck?
He almost said it. Here comes the physical part.
Yeah, his physical humor is great.
Like the captain on a in a rice
Your old
paddy
mother's
field
crawling
going.
across the kitchen floor. Get down, my army crawl. Army crawl. Get in the closet. Go get the sword in the living room. Somebody get the sword underneath the couch in the living room. There's a sword. All right, you have to turn and ask your family, you invite anybody over? You invite anybody over. There's always that person upstairs that didn't hear the bell. They come walking down. What the hell is going on? Get the hell down. Somebody's outside. They're at the door. I think they saw movement. Oh, God. I got to open it. I got no cake. I got no sank. I got nothing. Got nothing for these people.
Oh goodness.
You can't stop by anybody's house anymore. If you do, you have to call from the driveway.
That's exactly right.
That's right. Heads
You're
up.
like, I'm here. Can I approach?
Can I approach the building?
It's me and 3 other people. We're going to walk up through this side. Is that your mother with a sword? Why did
That's a great.
That is
a
so
great clip.
funny. But it reveals the attitudes of the 2 time periods for sure.
I mean, honest to goodness, the reality is when you have somebody come to your door now,
Yeah.
my thinking is always, why would you do that?
Wow. Dude,
I don't understand.
we don't
You
even
could
like
call
people
me.
calling us anymore. You need to
No.
text me.
I've had that argument with several of my friends. There are people, I label them. You know what I'm saying? There are people that are callers. And that's a derogatory term.
That's exactly-
You're a caller?
He's a caller.
Hey, I don't know if you know this. There's a thing. It's called texting. I don't want to talk to you.
It don't interrupt me.
Yes. And also, I don't want all of the stupid preliminary crap you got to do. It's like, oh, hi, how you doing? How's the kids? Where you at? Blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah,
And
blah.
it's just like, just text me.
Yeah.
And especially, I explain there are reasons you call.
Yes.
Like somebody's dead.
Well,
I'm
see,
in
that's
a
the
wreck.
thing.
And even then, like you're in a wreck.
Because people don't realize if somebody calls you, you're thinking something happened.
Oh, something up.
Something's up. Because otherwise, why would you call?
Yes. And then they'll call you. My favorite thing is when they call and go, hey, can I come by and pick up that car, that part off the car? It's a yes, no question. Yes, no questions are always text.
Yes.
Never a phone call.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you that bad. And if we're talking about that with phone calls, the level of you walking up to my door
Oh my gosh.
is like, I mean, it's offensive. It's like when somebody walks up my door, I'm offended by it now. It's like, you walked up to my door.
If you're not there to tell me, hey, you just won $1 million and I wanted to come in person to tell you, or this huge tragedy has just happened and I could not tell you.
It better be huge.
It's got to be huge.
Yeah, I don't care if your dog died. Don't come to my house for that. And even like if you're going to tell me I won something, it better be big.
It better be real big.
Yeah, because it's a few $1,000s.
if you're not
which
Ed
I
McMahon.
want a few $1,000s, but you could just mail it. To
Right,
me.
right.
We don't have to.
You couldn't have
talk
emailed or
about it.
texted.
I mean, the amount then becomes a part of the whole
Oh, the
deal.
world is so different from what we grew up in.
It's a different day, and that joke just embodies everything like 2 time periods.
Yeah.
Which I think's brilliant. Two aspects of time that we go, yep, I get that. And I actually have a whole joke that I do, how the 70s and 80s are different than today, and I go back and forth in that whole bit. And it's kind of a similar concept because it's so easy to relate. And those time periods were so different. It's amazing how much has changed just in 30, 40 years.
So the premise is what makes this, I think, the starting off point.
Great premise.
Yeah.
Relatable. We get it. Family. An experience we all had. It is kind of a unique thing, which is why I think it resonates with people. It's one of those things that you might not have thought about.
Yeah.
But as soon as he said it, he goes,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
It's that awakening experience that you get that makes it funny. His technique on all of his jokes, the physical humor is off the chart. That's
Yeah.
his thing, his shtick, no question. strong Italian. I think he plays that Italian thing up
he leans into it
really hard. And he has and I know his dad, I know he talks a lot about him, who's pretty hardcore. So I know that always helps because anytime you have that voice, you got the mannerisms and then his storytelling. He has a lot of the key ingredients to just being hilarious, and yet has traditional elements to it. A lot of surprises, which is his big thing. He surprises you with things, right turns, but sometimes the funniest things are just the most obvious things.
Yeah.
We're like, I'm just going to show you the obvious and we're going to laugh.
Well, there was some subliminal things I thought of when I saw that. One, if you grew up watching old Vietnam movies, his whole physical mannerism about how he crouched down, and he was that was a callback from all these Vietnam where the captain would go out there and tell him, get down in the rice paddies, start crying. He mimicked that sort of physicality.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought of a Vietnam movie when I was watching him as the captain out there. It's like, this is hysterical because what he's saying subliminally, we're under attack.
Yeah. Crouch, crawl, go get the samurai sword.
Exactly.
Under the couch.
So I thought that was just absolutely brilliant.
Well, it's also why a sword. That to me was, so he took the obvious, we're going to say a gun, go get the gun. Let's don't say gun. Let's find something else that's
too heavy. So he backed it out a little bit.
He backed it out, but just the change of it, makes it actually more funny. And I've actually found that to be the case because sometimes, a lot of comics will use the technique of saying the more risque or the more strong term for something to be direct, and it can be funny. But I found that a lot of times if you find
he went the opposite direction,
give us some other weird little piece, it's even funnier.
It's like,
and
hey, we're good people. We don't have a gun in the house, but we've got this sword.
It's just so ridiculous. Everything in you says, go get the gun.
Right.
And we all are like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he goes, no,
well, the physicality of being in a war and doing an army crawl, he's leading you up to that, and then boop, another right turn.
We're going to go over here and we're going to pick up a sword. And then he gets to do the physical humor of holding a sword, carrying a sword.
And then the callback, is that your grandmother with a sword?
It really is. It's one of my favorite bits. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
And I just watched his Netflix special. It's pretty good. I mean, I always say these guys are having to put out content like every year. It's hard to hit a home run every single time, but it's still a really good one, especially a lot of observation, more about marriage and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch.
Well, he's funny because the premise, the delivery, leaning into that Italian, he hits a lot of consonants real hard.
Physical, observational.
Yeah.
Great premise. I think in this particular joke, the premise is the one that won it, what made it funny.
That's why we think it's funny.
Here we go now.